I don't even know what to do anymore, man. At some level, I'm worthless. Like, anytime I try and do something, I fail. At some level, I'm just like, let me not even dream anymore. Let me choose the most safest route, because at some level, maybe that's the best way to live life. I'm not gonna fail that way, because honestly, like, what is my potential? All I've ever done with my life is just be average. And maybe that's just who I am. It's average as can be. You know, it just sucks, but it's also like, maybe that's just who I am. I'm gonna just stop dreaming. No point.
You know what, bro? I think you're absolutely right.
I know, yeah, right.
But what if there was a potential that everything that you think about yourself, the opposite is also true? What if just as much as you think you can't do it, if you just shift the words, if you just shift the way that you talk to yourself, what if that potential is also true? And what does that feel like? Just a couple words, just a couple little food for thought. Take with it what you will. But I know in my experience, whatever you're putting out, you're gonna get exactly back. So if you're putting out canting and wishing and wanting and shoulding and shouldn'ting, then that's probably what you're experiencing right now.
Yeah,
but if you're putting out, I am, I will, I must, I can, maybe you can get that back as well, brother.
You know, usually I've never heard it that way. You know, I thought you were just gonna agree with me, and it's powerful.
You know, like the old saying, bro, it's a cliche, but whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right.
Damn. And usually I think I can't, and I've been right. I think I can, and I'm gonna be right.
You're gonna be right, bro.
Tap in.
It felt like you drew something. Is that even, like, can you see anything that's on here?
Let me zoom in a little more. Yeah, maybe I want the fire in. I feel like, yeah, you just really would have to do it.
Yeah, okay.
I think a big circle, yes.
Okay.
Even just you talking it out, like kind of. And all right, so we just ended on tap in. So the next thing. So now tap into your potential. That's how I'm gonna start off. All right.
We're good. Okay.
So now tap into your potential. Here we are, y'all. The Cabana Vibe in the Nature Preserve. In this video, episode 4 is tapping into your potential. Stop limiting yourself.
Yes, sir. So I want to build a little bit of a foundation here. I think something that'll be helpful for you is to go over something that I learned from Tony Robbins that really helped me understand really what is your potential, because that's really the question that we want to answer here. Because in the last lesson we talked about the hero's journey, but ultimately you're going to be limited by your ability to recognize the potential that you have. Because if you're, you know, for instance, if you take your current circumstances right now, you know, maybe there's some challenges that you're going through, maybe there's some areas of your life that you're not, that you would maybe want to see differently, or you're not too happy with. And so many times, and so much of the time, when we think about our future, we take our current circumstances and we just project it out into the future. So for instance, if you currently believe that you're not good at playing basketball, or, you know, you're not a good swimmer, or you're not a good writer, or, you know, whatever those beliefs might be about yourself, which they're all just limiting beliefs, as we'll see here. When you think about your future and you set goals and you try to create a vision for yourself, most of the time you're going to take those same self-limiting beliefs and you're just going to transfer them out into the future. So what we've got to do, we got to break that. In typical Tony Robbins fashion, we got to break that shit, okay? And there's a couple different ways to go about this. And one of the simplest ways, I'm going to give you a little bit of a drawing here and kind of walk you through it. But one of the simplest ways is to, instead of thinking from this perspective right here, right now, going into the future, sometimes it's helpful to project yourself, put yourself into the future, you know, let's say like 10 years. So put yourself 10 years into the future and look back on your life. And it seems like a very simple shift, but just that in itself, a lot of times can break that limiting perspective. Because now you're looking back at your life and, hey, this is what has had to happen in order for me to get to this place that I'm envisioning, that I'm looking back from now. And a little bit of a homework assignment is set a little timer for 30 minutes. It's helpful when you just give yourself some boundaries here. So 30 minutes, get you a little journal. You can type or whatever's easier works for you, go out in nature. That might help you get a little bit of perspective shift. Johnny's opened up his nature preserve.
The preserve, come on down.
Come on down.
We're here. She's
But
welcome.
either way, set a little time for 30 minutes and put yourself in that position 10 years into the future. And you can even date it. So right now it's, what, August 13th or the 12th or something like that.
Something like
I don't
that.
know. You know, time's just whatever these
Yeah.
days. But it's like August 12th, 2024. So we'd be going August 12th, 2034. And you're going to do a little journal entry. And basically what I want you to do is just outline your perfect day from the moment you wake up. And literally, and this will kind of tie into this next little presentation or little exercise that I'm going to show you, and you'll see how it all ties in. But essentially giving yourself permission to think whatever comes up, like literally the most ideal situation. If you had no limit on time, on money, which these days I don't even know what that is anymore. If you had no limits on time, on money, on energy, on resource, like literally anything and everything is possible. Because even before we get into this little exercise, just the fact that you can think about something, it exists as a potential. And we don't even realize how powerful that is, that we're doing it all day, every day. You think you can't do something? You think you're not good enough for something? Guess what? You're right. And just the same way that you use that power to create limitations on yourself, you can use the same power to free yourself. So I'm gonna make a little drawing here, and I'll walk it out. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it, but basically, you've got 4 quadrants, okay? And the top left, we're going to go belief, and then the top right, we're going to go action, and then the bottom left, we're going to put result, and then the bottom right, we're going to put result. The bottom left, we're going to put potential. Okay, and then we're going to draw just some arrows connecting them, as you'll see here in a sec. So basically, and the cool thing about this chart is you can kind of start wherever you want to start, because it'll all flow into each other. But whatever your belief is about, you know, yourself, your circumstances, whatever, is going to determine the actions that you take. So again, if you don't believe that you'll ever be a good basketball player, you're probably not going to go practice playing basketball that much, because you already have a belief that you're no good, okay? And then based upon those actions, you're then going to get certain results. And then based upon those results, it's essentially just going to reinforce the belief. So it's going to reinforce your perception, your idea of what your potential is. And then basically whatever you think that your potential is going to then continue to reinforce the beliefs. And then the cycle continues. An easy way to think about it is going with the basketball example. Is like, I don't believe I'm very good. I don't believe I'm good a basketball player. And so therefore I don't practice playing basketball. Because I don't practice playing basketball, I suck ass at playing basketball. And because I suck ass at playing basketball, I'm like, see, I told you so. I suck. I'm no good at playing basketball. And then I just reinforce that belief. And that's literally the most simplest way that you can visualize that.
Powerful.
And again, you can start from any one of these places, but the cool thing is potential is fundamentally limitless, okay? Because, you know, there's so many, you can get into whole spiritual discussions and all of these things, but like I said, the easiest way that I like to think about it is the sole fact that I can conceive of something, that I can think about something, that I can imagine something, then it exists as a potential at some level, okay? And knowing that there is always a potential, I can align my beliefs to that potential. And so this is where, you know, as I'm sure we'll get into as we progress, but these different little practices like, you know, meditation, just being out in nature, and these different practices that allow you to become more and more aware of just, you know, your thought patterns and your self-limiting beliefs, because that's kind of the other side of it. If you don't even see that this is happening, which a lot of times, you know, we've carried around these beliefs for so long, we don't even recognize them anymore. They're just part of who we identify ourselves with, which is kind of another discussion. But if you have a deep-rooted identity about who you think you are, then you're in it, whether it's conscious or unconscious, you're going to find ways to continue to reinforce that identity. But again, that's a little bit of a deeper discussion for maybe another time. But basically, if once you know your belief is limitless, you can align, or your potential is limitless, you can align your beliefs to that potential. And as you begin to align those beliefs to that potential, you're going to start taking different actions. If you believe at the very least that, maybe you can't just straight up say like, go from I suck at basketball to no, I'm really good at basketball. Because again, if you don't believe that, even if it does exist as a potential, you're not going to get behind it. You're not going to take action on it. But if at the very least you can say, I believe I have the potential to be better at basketball. That's something that you can believe in. That's something that you can get behind. And therefore, maybe now you start practicing because you can at least get better at playing basketball. And then you take different actions based on the beliefs, and then you're going to get different results, which then reinforce the potential. Like, see, I told you so. I told you I can get better at playing basketball. And then it reinforces the belief and the cycle continues. So that's really the main point we want to drive home here. Because as you're, doing your 10-year kind of projecting yourself out into the future exercise and writing out your perfect day, recognizing that the potential is only limited. I think there was a saying, it's like your potential is only limited by your resourcefulness, your creativity, and the possibility of what you believe can exist. That's not the exact quote, but it was something like that. But you get the point. So as you're doing your exercise, like literally, if you want to wake up on top of Mount Rushmore and like that's your dream, write it down, because literally it does exist as a potential. If you want to, like fly into work on a helicopter and parachute your way down to the office or whatever you're choosing to do, it exists as a possibility. So it's like recognize that it can be as, insane or, out of this world as it may seem, but it does exist as a potential. And that's the place that you want to operate from, because that's what's going to start to open it all up for you. So that when we continue this journey, you're not continuously coming from this place of limiting beliefs. You're recognizing, no, there's a potential. No, there's a potential. There's always a potential. And that's what we got to tap into. Johnny?
And you just opened. Powerful. Setting the foundation, like you said, and it's all right there, If we're on earth right now and we're living our life, are you really going to not do something you love because you don't think you can do it and you're limiting yourself and you're afraid you're going to fail? When it's all right here, who you are, you're capable of whatever you want to do. That limiting belief, that honestly, that sad mindset of just thinking, well, I can't do that. My potential is this, because when you were younger, there's been programs and beliefs that were set that you're not good enough, that you can't make that work. And it's going to take some real work to unwire and then rewire the ways you need to view yourself and view your life. But the time is now. You have to chase your highest calling. You have to trust that it's all out there. The potential is out there. And literally, when you start doing this, and like you said, you start rewiring and seeing the system, and you start operating from this set, well, it could happen, or what could come out of this, that is the place you need to be, because that is where the magic is. And that growth, that journey of really allowing yourself to just dream big. Like, bro, if you love basketball and you want to go to the NBA, why not think you can go to the NBA? Like, even just having that belief that I'm going to do that, maybe it doesn't unfold to the NBA, but it's going to unfold into a powerful, beautiful life, because you've not limited yourself into I can't do that. Just literally think you can do anything. And when you think you can do anything, then what you really need to be doing just aligns to you in the most beautiful way. So just tap in. Like, it's a way more exciting, powerful, real life to live. It's answering the call to the adventure, And it's all right here. You have the foundation, the real work to see it, because it is work to break the patterns, to be aware of the beliefs that say, oh no, I can't do that, because it is a cycle. Being conscious, breaking them, and stop limiting yourself is such a freeing, powerful, real feeling. And it's like, we are so powerful. You have no idea the potential that you have. Maybe you do. But like, I'm even still learning, like, God damn, I'm limitless. We're limitless. We are creator beings. Like, we have been so programmed and taught that, like, nah, we're not this powerful being. Like, you see it, like, it's almost evidence. It's funny, because like at some level we're not gonna go so deep, but okay, they're trying to poison us at some level through food. They're trying to contaminate our water. They're trying to put us through the media and just lower us down. And, oh, it's so bad, but at some level it's just evidence to how powerful we really are, that all of these things are here against us because our natural, real state of being is this powerful energy. And when you stop limiting yourself and believing these lies that you've been told about yourself, you then open yourself up to the person you need to be, that the world needs you to be. Then together we live such a powerful, beautiful life here on earth, following our dreams, chasing whatever potential our heart desires, and that's a world that's going to be amazing to live in, isn't it, my brother?
Yes, sir. And you said something there, and I wanted to kind of really highlight it, is like you're saying, when if you believe you can go to the NBA, and like that exists as a potential. And even if you don't get to that place, like whatever, you write down your 10-year vision, you do your journal entry, and who knows, maybe it does get to that point, but more than likely, like, you would be very surprised. Like, if you did this exercise, you wrote it down and you never looked at that journal entry again, you'll be amazed if you picked it back up in 10 years and how much of it has actually unfolded in your life. But the most important part is not that you actually attain the thing. It's not that you actually do the thing. It's the journey along the way. The journey is the way, because it's the journey that transforms you. But if you're limiting yourself from the start before you even take the first step, then you're not going to go through that process that is going to transform you. I mean, hell, there's been plenty of times even in my own life where I've set goals for myself and I fully believed that they were going to happen, and I fell short, or I quote unquote failed, and they didn't happen. And at first I felt like I was a failure, and I identified with that. And in some instances, it even prevented me from taking further action, kind of going back to this cycle. But then I realized something. So I realized every time in what I thought was a failure was actually setting me up for a greater opportunity. Because every time, just by going through the process, even if it didn't end up in the way that I thought it was going to, the way that I thought I hoped that it would, I still grew. I still learned. I still became a better person. And I realized that, some doors are meant to stay closed. Because either one, you're supposed to see that there's another door over here that you're supposed to be led to. And sometimes the door stays closed because there's a window that's fucking wide open right next to it. You just crawl right through. And sometimes the door stays closed because you're supposed to keep hitting that motherfucker until it finally gives way. And the secret is knowing the difference. But you won't recognize that until you recognize that the potential is limitless.
Limitless. And there it is, y'all. Are you really gonna keep limiting yourself? Are you really gonna not follow your dreams because you're afraid of fail? Are you really not gonna do the real work that's gonna transform your life, transform your family, transform your future? Are you really gonna just keep pushing aside? Are you really gonna keep not answering that call to what your heart desires? Maybe that's what you're gonna do. But you know what? I think you know the answer, and I think I know what you want to do. It's all right here. It's all right here.
Take the call.
Take the call. Take the call. Tap in.
All right, y'all.
Force for nature.
We're here.
You're gonna feel it. We'll see you on the next one.